But while we're on the subject of sexy women, because there is nothing that modern feminists hate more than sexy women. Which is why they try and dehumanize and degrade them all the time by calling them sex objects.
Sexualized objects.
Sex object.
Sex objects.
Sex objects.
Sexual objectification. Sexual objectification. Sexually objectified.
Sex objects. Sexual objects.
Sex objects. Sex objects. Sexual objectification. Sexual objects.
Sex object. Sexually objectifying. I want to make an appeal first to logic. When we're talking about sex objects,
sexual objectification.
Sex objects. Since these women are just objects.
Sex object, when you
sexual objectification.
Sex object.
Everything is sexist, everything is racist, everything is homophobic, and you have to point it all out.
Sex objects.
Sexual
objectification.
Sex objects.
And sexually objectifying.
Sex objects.
Sexual object.
Sex object, sex objects.
Sexual objectification contributes to a culture where sexual violence isn't taken seriously.
So we go into parties and we know where we are in the pretty girl pecking order, and when another woman is valued for being a sex object, it actually makes us feel bad about ourselves.
This is the essence of what sexual objectification means.
This is some bullshit. Everyone should be pissed that this is so normal.
Yeah, you're right, Lacey. People should be pissed that this is normal. That the only people that dehumanize women by calling them sex objects are feminists. I mean, let me just repeat that for you. The only people who call women sex objects are feminists. And tell me what you think calling women sex objects does for them, Anita.
It erases the reality that some choices that women make have an enormous negative impact on other women's lives.
But let me just tell you, as someone who has spent a lot of time in the UK recently, that I have honestly heard on Radio 4, that's the BBC's factual radio, they describe the new wave of internet feminists as the toughest feminists yet. Other than, of course, the fact that Twitter gives them PTSD. Or remember that for these new internet feminists, teasing your sister, that's rape too.
I got raped when my brother teased someone else's sister.
And of course, this new wave of internet feminists thinks that women are so weak that merely calling them bossy is what's scaring them away from leadership.
Pushy, stubborn, bossy.
When I was growing up, I was called bossy.
I think the word bossy is just a squasher.
Being labeled something matters. By middle school,
girls are less interested in leadership than boys.
And that's because they worry about being called bossy.
And yeah, these are the same feminists who think the definition of the word rape should be expanded to include thought rape and word rape.
I get raped every day, several times, by thoughts, by words, by looks.
Or they think that merely mentioning their name on Twitter is harassment, or making fake threats to themselves and getting themselves put in jail. Or, you know, just throwing around fake gang rape accusations like candy. Oh yeah, bravo modern feminism. But just because it's important, let me just remind you one last time why feminists are the only people calling sexy women sex objects.
So we go into parties and we know where we are in the pretty girl pecking order, and when another woman is valued for being a sex object, it actually makes us feel bad about ourselves.
This is the essence of what sexual objectification means.
This is some bullshit. Everyone should be pissed that this is so normal.